Oh man. Oh man.
Well,
Hello.
a very professional-looking logo there, I must say.
Thanks. Dapper made it.
Nice
Yeah,
setup you got
the
today.
asterisk was well done.
I saw that. That was me.
Oh.
God damn it. Isn't that always the case?
Well,
Jeez.
the fact that the asterisk was not in the middle but slightly elevated.
Yeah,
that's,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
That's someone knows their typography.
Oh, thanks. Thanks.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, Dapper
wonder-
came up with
I wonder
the
if you-
main logo and like the name of the channel, and then I was like, "Oh, this shit again."
Now, I will point out that I did tell people that we're going to start at the top of the hour, so we're starting early. Is that because?
No, we definitely are. Well, we're not live yet. We're just like hanging out until we go live, which is like in the minute by the time this little goblin
So
stops.
I can do my April with the various, because you have to do all 6 Ys.
I would never hot mic you. I don't know what you're talking about.
But yes, I got to do, because there are 6 different Ys that you can do.
It's a lot of Ys. But
Yes,
what about ever
why? Well,
asking
that's
how?
Well, I don't know if there's a how.
How is
usually.
April instead of why is April?
Oh no! I
Ah,
forgot my
oh.
diary where I put the predictions in. Far out.
Off she
Where's my
goes.
diary?
Oh.
I need to pull
My
up that
diary
picture of
was-
Maanya's chair.
Yeah, you might have to. Fuck me. Ah!
Hey,
Somebody
yo.
kill me.
What up? What dumpster fire? I don't know what you're talking about. Welcome to Bait Hub. This is Volcano Watch. We're here to talk about volcanoes and all kinds of things related to volcanoes. You might notice I have a recorder with me. That's because I am practicing to play the Kong Z Star Trek Endurance theme song, and I have to learn it and figure it out by ear, and it is a little bit tricky, but I'm getting there. So hopefully at some point we'll have a recorder version of that. But welcome. I've
You
got
have a
Maanyaa.
recorder of a recorder?
A recorder of a recorder. But today I've got with me Maanyaa and Landon, as per usual. Maanya's still freaking out a little bit, so we'll give her a second. Landon, how are you?
I am doing well. Things that we live in times that are interesting. And the C contest is in the middle of judging. We're in our final rounds of C contest, but we'll talk about that a little bit when we have our show. But I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing pretty good. I did promise some people that they could tune in at the top of the hour and get the Volcano show. So we got to like vamp because for some reason we're early. Chesh is muted.
It's 1 minute. It's 10:59.
Oh, okay. But I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying this is.
I feel like I'm being attacked. I did so much gardening today. So, like, on Fridays, because I have Star Trek Endurance over on Top Hats Off, and then on some Fridays I have this show, I have, like, one Friday a month where I take my entire afternoon to just do, like, cleaning and gardening. So I was just gardening all afternoon. It was great. I got my onions replanted. I got some of my tomatoes planted in bigger
What kind
pots.
of onions?
So I have leeks, and then I have onions that I got at the grocery store that are green onions that I stuck in some water, let them grow their roots a little bit, and then shoved in some dirt. But now they started to get big enough that I had to separate them, so they're all separated now. And my jade plant. Look, I replanted my jade plant. Maanyaa, tell us how you are, and I'll show you. I'll grab that jade plant.
Me? Okay, I'll tell you a couple of stories, and I'm telling everyone who is trapped with me to listen. Last week I had 2 allergy reactions at one site I was looking at. Then yesterday at another site I had a guy drop a whole pallet of glass jars of pickles.
That is, you weren't having a reaction. You had somebody else that had a reaction.
Someone, yes, 2 people. 2 people who had separate reactions, and then someone yesterday dropped a pallet full of like cucumber pickles in glass jars. So I had to like make sure that anything within 10 meters was not contaminated with glass shards. Plus, all my shoes are now smelling like pickles. And during the night, one of the newbies, yes, and during the night, one of the newbies during the night shift decided like, yeah, they're gonna try their hand in bad weather at outside loading and yeah, destroy 2 pallet worths of products.
My jade
Oh, that's
plant
nice.
is
Yay!
if you look at the very, very bottom, it's starting to bark. And so
Yay!
Yeah,
it's
that looks
all
brilliant.
green and
Bark,
pink
bark,
and
bark.
purple, and so now it's in a pot about twice the size of the pot it was in. So hopefully it survives that transfer pretty well, but we'll see how it does. So I'm excited. I also moved my one lavender plant that was starting to grow up. I hope I didn't move it too soon, and I put it in the pot that this was in, and I started some new lavender, so we'll see how they do.
And I have my star jasmine has been moved. It was in the sunroom, but star jasmines don't really grow this far north. It's a little bit too cold for them. But there's also critters out here that attack the star jasmine. Where they were, I think it's selected because it's basically immune for most stuff where it is, but I moved it to a place where it isn't. So I have to move it to a more protected spot. But my spot doesn't have sun, so I have a sort of sun lamp, and I'm hoping the LED. They say it's a plant grow light thing.
Last summer, while I was gardening, I saw a bunch of ladybug larvae, like the little small guys. And I saw for the first time since I was like under 10 years old. Like, we're talking like maybe slightly before my parents got divorced. Like a very, very long time ago. That year, I saw for the first time in ages a red ladybug. I thought that red ladybugs in southern Ontario were extinct. Like, they were gone. Because they were all orange. They used to be red ones, but the red ones went away, and I remember hearing on, like, the news or something, like, while I was in a car or something, that the ladybugs were just no longer in southern Ontario, or specifically our area anymore. They were extinct in the area. And last year, for the first time ever, I saw a bright, like, jewel red ladybug, and I was just like, holy shit! So I lost my mind. So I did some gardening, I did some weeding, and now I've got to pick a couple of, I've been doing a little bit of research, I'm going to pick a couple of plants that are southern Ontario pollinator, natural, like normal to the area pollinators, and get some of them. Right now, I've got a bunch of mint and mustard sort of carpeting. And so, because I don't really use the sides of my yard, so they're carpeting. I had pulled out all the mustard before because they're toxic to dogs, but I don't have Puck anymore, so I don't have a dog anymore, so I don't care. So, so I'm letting it carpet, which the rabbit, there's a baby rabbit, there's birds and a ton of bugs, and they all love it because it's all shaded and they can all run underneath it because it's just tall enough for them to like just hang out underneath. So it's really, really great.
And by the way, this is the Volcano Show. We'll get to the volcanoes in just a moment. But we're trying to hear more about Chesh's plant life and so forth. There.
I'll talk about it more on Monday.
And I've been doing cooking. I did another pizza. I've been figuring out my place. It's not a kitchen. Then I'm going to do a frittata, and then I'm going to do a chocolate cake, and then do some tacos, and then other things. I have these plans for these meals that I'm, filling out in my place where I'm
nice
enjoying stuff. So folks, there we'll get started pretty soon.
Yeah.
On volcano stuff.
Landon wanted us to delay a little bit to give some people time to get in.
Yeah.
So you got to hear about my garden. I'll tell you guys more about it on my regular channel on Monday. I'll get all my plants out and I'll show you guys.
We have got a special treat for you tomorrow.
Oh?
Yeah, I gotta schedule that. I'll schedule that after this goes live. After we're done.
Okay.
But it's a treat.
Yay!
You shall see soon.
So, do you think anything you want to add, Maanyaa, or should we get started?
I was just gonna say that Smitty's asking if Chesh rode the ladybug or not.
Of course I did. I tamed it. It's mine now.
Nice.
That's how it works.
Then Chesh is gonna raise an army of red ladybugs now. Yes.
If I was riding anything, it would probably be little potato bugs, like the little pill bugs. I got a ton of those. They're everywhere.
okay.
I pick up a pot and
Yeah.
like 6 of them are all just hanging out. I pulled up
Yeah.
some of the weeds this time because they were starting to choke out one of my pollinators, and the earthworm was like this fat. He was a thick old boy.
Oh,
I love
wow.
isopods. Yeah, isopods are great. I think there might actually
Okay.
be an isopod currently living in this pot.
Somewhere.
Wow.
Well, yeah, because the dirt came from like I leave my dirt outside.
course.
There you go. That'll do it. That'll do it. But yeah, they're great for the soil. So
Oh, the
so
giant
anyway,
water ones are so cool.
So I have these 3 star jasmine that are in the pots that came from my previous place I used to live in Silicon Valley. So they're kind of sentimental. But also the other plants I take care of are some Hoyas, and they're an nth generation Hoya. The original Hoya was growing in 1889 that my great-great-grandmother had a picture taken next to it, and she gave cutting to her kids and gave cutting to the kids.
Oh, that's nice.
Parents all down the line, and so I have now a set of these things, and my niece, now has, cuttings going forward. So it is a interesting plant, but that's a Hoya. So without further ado, I can give you. This is the Volcano Show. We're here to talk volcanoes. Certainly the plants that they help cause, but one thing that you will know from those that have been here for many, many times is that volcanoes are very common. We live on a very wiggly, wobbly planet that has lots of volcanoes.
Shimmy, 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 shimmy.
And currently, this as of the 2nd of May, it shows that we had 48 that were continuing eruptions. There have been 54 this year. So we're a little bit ahead of where it was, because 2024 had 65 erupted, and we're only a little bit more than halfway through, and we're at 54. So I think this is going to be a bumper year for volcanoes erupting. As to where...
So this is I told you guys 2025 was going to be crazy.
Oh, yeah.
As to where, these are the ones, the red dots are the ones that are actually, erupting with lava right now, or close to it. This was of the morning, and so we look here. The 2 Italian ones, Stromboli and Etna, are erupting. In Africa, you have your Congo, your Indian Ocean, and the Ethiopia one. Indonesia remains at they have the high point. This particular one has been quite vigorously erupting. It's sort of in an even darker red. But Indonesia usually has the lead stuff. They have 8 of their active volcanoes erupting right now. Nothing up in Alaska, but you have Mexican, 2 Guatemalan, Nicaraguan, Costa Rica one, a couple in Ecuador, Chile, Peru. South Sandwich Islands is still running. That started there. That's still erupting, and one in the South Sandwich Islands. Erebus, of course, always is one of those continuously erupting. Kilauea, which we'll see. Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands, Tonga, Vanuatu, and then of course in the Ring of Fire, Russia has stuff like Kamchatka, Kuril Islands. Japan usually has 3 there. They have 3 now. Philippines has 2. So lots of volcanoes that are actually erupting. The ones that are orange are in unrest or steam or so forth, and about ready to erupt. So we have lots of volcanoes. Volcanoes are common.
Just so you guys know the legend, because Sar in the chat is asking what color would they be if the volcano was gonna blow up. The red is actively erupting volcanoes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So all those red ones are currently volcanoes that are blowing up. Orange are ones that are doing some movement but aren't actively necessarily erupting, and then the yellow is just, this is a volcano.
Yep. Yep. So, so we tend to focus on the Kilauea volcano in the Big Island, Hawaii, and it has done lots of spectacular things. We had episodes, right? This current eruption started on Christmas Eve, and we've had 26 episodes. These episodic things, not just you much lava comes out and it stops. It kind of has these up and down activities. And I was hoping that we'd have a live eruption right now, but it started a little bit early. It started at 1:40 in the morning Hawaii time, and it put out a nice fountain. The fountain reached, as you see in terms of the height, reached around 300 meters, around 1,000 feet. And a fountain, it sort of went down to about 250 meters. That's down to 250 meters, down to 800 feet in height. So it's had a bunch of very had a really vigorous eruption that just ended. Had a very vigorous episode. The eruption is ongoing. If we look at themselves, I'm going to zoom this in. This is the table of episodes since the Christmas Eve start, and talk about the duration here, the height of the fountain, the amount of lava that came out. And we see that this last one here, it says it's ongoing. Let me do a update to see if they've updated it. And well, they haven't updated yet, but it had a fountain height of 350 meters, little less than the previous one was 365. I think that 365 meter tall fountain is one of the highest ever recorded at the summit. But the last, you see the duration is 4.5 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, 6 hours, 7.5 hours, 8 hours. And you look at the dates, there are the pause there is like 3 to 5 days. Oh, that was 11, 10 days, 6 days. So the pause, the duration, excuse me, that's the duration. No, that's the pause. The pause has been there. So we don't know what the pause section is because episode 26 hasn't really occurred. But the pauses are there. So you look at the volume of lava is coming out about the same for the last 3. So again, we've had these really interesting episodic things where it comes and goes. Why does it come and go? Well, the magma has dissolved gases under pressure, and as the magma moves up because of other gases below it, those gases, the pressure drops, those gases come out of solution, basically the bubble pops, and that pop pushes the magma up, right? Because it's rock, it wants to sink, but the gases coming out give it loft, and when it reaches the top, it becomes lava. And if it's outgassing vigorously, it'll squirt out really high, and we will see that occurring in just a moment. So it's episodes, and it's continued to have these episodes every few days where the fountain lasts for typically somewhere in the order of a third of a day to a half a day. And we look at deformation. Another thing we look at is the tilt meters, right? This is a measuring the summit across various spots to how the ground is being deformed. As the magma pushes up from below, the ground expands or contracts and sinks. So we have these diagrams here. We focus on this one here. Here is the last week where you see it down here in the month, where it begins to expand as the graph goes up. There's a blue line where we're focusing on at the summit. It expands, reaches the top, and then drops. And in fact, you look at the month, we've had 4 episodic eruptions. So the pressure builds up. The magma reaches the top, starts squirting out, and as that fountain goes up high, the mountain sinks back down in because it outgasses. It no longer has a loft, and the eruption stops, and it takes time. So if you look at this stuff, you might say, well, does that mean in the next 5 days or so, 6 days, it'll erupt again? Well, it keeps doing what it's doing. Answer is yes, but who knows? Over the last 3 months, we can see this episodic thing of build up pressure, fountain, drop, pressure, drop, on, off, on, off, on, off. From the point of view of the length across the caldera, so as the magma pushes up from below, the caldera expands like you're blowing up a balloon. It gets a little bit larger, and so the distance across the caldera is expanding. Now, this spot right here, the big bump here we see right here is when the eruption first started. This is the Christmas Eve, and we can see from these episodes these up down, blah blah blah. That's been happening. Although there's a little bit of a trend of the mountain expanding, right? These episodes don't completely relieve the pressure. And that's interesting from that point of view. Over the years, we can see that this episodic thing here is very different than this one, which was a eruption. There's eruption here. These breaks or eruptions, but those are one-time events. Over the last 5 years, this is the first time it's gone into this episodic phase. Come so far? Okay, so let's look at the eruption map. So this is the current map of the summit. So we're talking about if you see down here in the inset, this is the southeast corner of the Big Island where the killer volcano is. It has these two spines, and this rectangle right here is represented by this region. This is the national park entrance, and this pit here is where the lava is. This is called Hale Ma'u. And it has these two vents here on the side where lava pours out across the thing, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. This was as of episode 24, so this is the last one. The total volume that's been released is roughly 101 cubic meter, 101 million cubic meters. So that's 101 million washing machines of stuff. Now it's 26.7 billion gallons, which is probably somewhere around 160 million, 160 billion megapints, or what's the, or is that kilopints? I forget those units are confusing for me.
Megapints.
Yes.
Megapints.
So if it's megapints and it's a million pints, then a billion gallons would be roughly 150 billion pints, which would be 150,000 megapints, maybe.
I have a question. Yes. So there's this purplish dotted line that we can see.
Yes.
On
yes.
What is that? Can you help us understand?
This was the extent of the flows that was in of the previous eruption in essentially in September 2023. The previous eruption before this episodic stuff, there were flows in this area, including Gilligan's Island. The lava lake used to have a rock island that was floating inside the lava rock. It was very cute.
It was cute, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very, very cute little thing, but it's now covered up quite a bit. In fact, it's been covered up by roughly 72 meters of lava. So that Gilligan's Island used to float around, for those that have been in the show for a long time, where the island was floating around in the lava lake. That's now been covered over by 72 meters, or roughly 236 feet. So there's a lot of stuff there. This other purplish stuff here was where there was a flow in 23 where it basically spilled from this side down. It was the first time it erupted on this side of the thing. It's been erupting on this side for quite a while now, and the flows go out. So the pink is
if you go digging in the history of the Volcano show, which should be available in a playlist on this channel, you might see us talking about that very eruption.
Yeah. So are you saying that so you're saying in 2 years it's expanded outside of that purple dotted zone now?
Yeah.
That much.
And
in 2 years.
And added 72 meters on top of that, 263 feet.
Oh, okay.
Right, so there's a lot of volume, and we're talking in a volume of 101 million washing machines worth of stuff. They got to fit somewhere. And so this is a spider deposit. This sort of orangey thing is the spider deposits from these two vents. that when they flow, it flows out over this plane very quickly and fills up this stat of stuff. And you can see there still is the it still has a little ways to go before it reaches the main part of the caldera, but it's slowly filling up on the ongoing eruption, and the volume of the stuff has been pretty prestigious. Now, one of the things about this particular thing is these tall fountains send out ash, right? You've got this molten rock being ejected almost at speed of sound or above the speed of vent, and it heads up 300 meters. The wind blows, the stuff cools, cinders cool, and the wind blows it back. The trade winds tend to go towards the southwest, so they come this way. So you can see here's the eruptive events, and here is the ash that's coming out from that area, and we can see the ash deposits. This was
7 ashes.
May. This is the so we have this spot and this spot. We've been seeing this ash fall continuing in this region. Again, you can see that a lot of ash is actually going, given that's 2 kilometers. There's a lot of ash that's going downwind and fairly thick area. And we'll see pictures of that. From the point of view of earthquakes, there's been lots and lots of earthquakes here. It's a very wiggly thing. Here's a summit where the Holy Mount Maanyaa is. Lots of earthquakes. These dots are earthquake epicenters. And the color is the depth. So the more reddish, the closer to the surface. The more bluish, the deeper down. So we notice that of course, there's earthquakes at the summit. These down here are because it's adding so mass that basically the side of the island is bulging out towards the ocean. At some stage, this will break
just waiting to go
and go slide in. And you can see from the things slide. These little protrusions are not lava flows. There's when the silent side of the island gives way and goes splash. On there. But so this shows you the picture this past month. Lots of earthquakes. It's a very wiggly place. Here's this stuff. So basically you draw this stuff down and you say, show us the depth. And we have these deep things around 30 kilometers and a lot of shallow stuff all across. Most of that shallow stuff is because the mountain is sagging, but these around here that are a little bit deeper show you the uplift of where the vent is. This stuff down deep is the magma coming up from the mantle. Is basically this is the updraft that sends it towards Kilauea, Mauna Loa, or Ho'olulai. In terms of earthquakes itself, the past month, this is the count number of earthquakes. You can see the average. The average earthquakes is somewhere maybe like 30 per day. So lots of earthquakes over time. You can see it's pretty continuous. There's bigger circles or more active earthquakes. They've had some big ones near the surface, but it's pretty continuous over time. So if we look at if you look in general over what, this is a map of the actual Big Island, and you can see this is a period of time between 1970 and 2006. It's lots of earthquakes, but the earthquakes are concentrated where there's volcanoes, including Loi'i, the submarine volcano that's in the process of heading towards the surface. But you can tell that Mauna Loa and Kilauea has sort of the predominant of earthquakes because it's where the crust is more.
I like that map. We haven't seen that one before. It looks pretty cool.
Thank you. I just say, and you can tell from the point of view of depth versus duration across this is basically this slice across here. You can tell that there's lots of Mauna Loa stuff. You can see this swarm of updraft of the magma moving up, and then it basically tends to break rock near the top, either in Kilauea or Mauna Loa or Loi'i. Air quality, of course, is something that people are concerned with. The trade winds move the air to essentially the southwest. So down here, they get the volcanic fog and so forth. There's not much in the way of, people tend to not like to be there. It's kind of a volcanic desert in that sense. There are families down here, and when the winds shift, these people in the South Point do get problems. It's a problem for people with asthma and other sensitive groups. There, it's one of the unfortunate things. But from the point of view of coming to the national park and the visitor center, you're kind of upwind, and the wind is blowing it away from you, so you don't get the effect as much, unless the wind shifts. But then it's only temporary. Okay, so let's look at pictures.
Ooh,
so
yes,
this
the
looks
photography.
Like, yeah, we call it volcano. This is what we call fake volcano porn. So here are the two vents.
Is it me, or it looks like a lizard that's like curled around and sitting and looking at you like and smoke?
Oh yeah, haven't you heard that? That is that's a dragon. That's all dragon bones. Didn't you know?
Yeah, like a dragon's like curled around and looking at
I see
like,
what
that. You looking at?
Well spotted, Maanyaa. So these are the two vents. This was in May 21st when it wasn't erupting, but you can see that the magma is pretty close to the surface. You can see the glow here and here. Looking down in the vent, you can see, in fact, there's a little lake. This was the north vent, and this was the south vent. The south vent actually had a pond there that was pretty good. But that's what they look like when they're not erupting. It is down, and there's a little bit of pit down there, so there's a little bit of depression that comes out. But when it's erupting, of course, different. So I wanted to also show you what the camera sensors look like. We'll see some cameras here, but this is a digital setup. Inside the Pelican case here is the electronics to manage the camera and to send the data to the uplink. We do have solar panels that we try to not. They get covered with ash. So it's to go and clean them.
Yeah.
Actual camera now is we got these sort of things that a company does security work that allows you to move the camera around like security cameras.
Ooh,
that's because they can then target rather than having to come and shift the camera to a different spot. They can point it in a different spot.
Are these new ones, or are they like you already had these ones?
We've had this has been new in the last about year or so.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Ones.
Yeah.
Now of course, they're on this ledge here is reasonably stable. I would say reasonably. It is crumbly a bit, but it's so they've stayed for quite a while here. And also you notice that we use Cat6 cabling to go to the network, because the Cat6e cabling has a lot of shielding. So if hot rock comes on top of it, the shielding tends to disperse, and so it doesn't melt through as bad.
I see you have covered it with rocks and stuff to stop it from like flapping around in the wind, I guess. Yeah.
Well, that also, yes, and also to keep the wind from knocking over the tripod.
Yeah, the tripod. Yeah.
As well, it does sometimes get windy there. You see again. This is the fisheye thing that they can move the camera around and zoom in a bit.
Oh, nice.
But use the rocks and stories there. This ledge has stayed really stable, which we've been grateful for. Because it used to be that Madam eat cameras. You put you put a nice camera there, and the ground would crumble and would fall into the lava pit. It was kind of hard on the cameras. So, but
how many cameras have you sacrificed to Madam Pele for a good photograph and an autograph?
I've put in. I think I've had 7. I know I've given 7 cameras. These are like Canon EOS 1, high-end cameras, but I needed other things for we were doing an observing program to look for asteroids orbiting near the sun, and so we needed to upgrade cameras, and we basically give them the old cameras that would sit there for a while until Madam Pele wanted a sacrifice. So I want to show you another phenomenon that's happening, and that is hydrogen gas. Hydrogen sulfide and hydrogen gas is one of the things that can vent out of the thing. And so we'll see this thing. This is not lava. This is flames. This is the lava.
These are flames.
It's dense enough thing. This is the hydrogen gas burning, making water.
Nice.
And so that glow thing is one of the things you can see this is of course a pre-eruption set, but you can see that it is a fairly active bit of stuff. Now the hydrogen mixed with other things, and so one of the things in particular is some of the sulfur you get you get you get hydrogen sulfide that gets created there as kind of a nasty gas.
Yeah.
So
yes.
after episode 23, and this is an example
beautiful.
of a beautiful thing for the 23 in May.
Tash, come here! You're missing. She just got up and went away. She's missing on this, and she can't hear us because she's not wearing her headphones. So, Tash.
But I wanted to show you this. This is where the fountain just began, and the prodigious amount of lava that flows out. This is how you get that, 100,000 megapints, or how many that is in those units.
Nice.
There,
Tash,
but so it's
That's very
is
bright.
one of the really nice thing of the set, and we have a number of things. If you go to like the volcano house, you have a really good view of the across the thing. So the visitor center, you go walk across the road from the visitor center to the volcano house, where you get a lava side view or watch this stuff. And I want to say again, we're talking about things that are around. This is this was where it was the nearly 350 meters, in 1,000 plus feet. But also you see ash that comes out of it. This is where that ash deposit is. Basically, the wind is blowing it back there. That is really quite something to see.
I need to get an audio clip or like a little meme video clip of Owen Wilson saying "wow," so I can play it. Wow.
But again,
no, it's like somebody somebody left a fire hose on, but instead of water, it's like lava coming out. It's like oof.
Now, most of the time, you see lava is not red. It's only red when it's moving and hasn't had enough contact with cold air to turn dark. You can see as the lava comes off and it lands, having cooled down through the air, then you get this dust. And it does have a slurry, but this is lava there, but it tends to be more silvery.
By slurry, you mean forbidden brownies.
Yes. Well put. So monitoring the summit here, of course, your safety gear here, where you have, gas masks and other things there for because again, sometimes the wind can change and you get hot cinders heading your way. But again, you can see how particularly at night, how the flow comes off this.
You're close. Like this lady is close, isn't it?
Oh, a little bit. I mean, it's up, but they're protected, right? They've got protection, and there's monitoring and so forth there, and they're only here for a little while. And you can see that there's ashfall in this area. So the wind was there to be monitored. They have heat shield stuff. They have there's standby medical equipment and so forth. So, and of course gas masks. And this shows you, for example, in this area, like you get some of these. This is basically a blob of lava that ejected, right? This was found not too far from here. So there's a period of time you'll see that the things kind of go to the side, or the wind carries it this way. You get blava landing here. You don't want to be there when that's going on because, and you can see that this is a lot of stuff. Yeah. Yes. The flows themselves, I find, are quite beautiful. I know that the fountain is kind of the main flow, but you can see the prodigious amount of lava that just comes out of these vents.
Yeah, it looks like fanned out leaves. Like that's what it looks like. Like one of those like big plants. Are they which kind of plant? Which have like the big leaves, the big leaves that are like continuous leaves that fan out.
Yes, and it really is a case of stuff, and it has little. It's interesting. It's this just got started, right? So it hasn't really gone across the plane very much, and there still is a couple of rocks as the current's going through. But I really like the fractal patterns; are quite beautiful.
Fractal spiraling.
Here's another thing that they took of the details inside of the flow. So now the flow has gotten, and again, you only see red when you have fast-moving lava that's high temperature that hasn't had a chance to freeze yet, because most of the time the lava is sort of silverish, darkish area. Again, ISO 26. So you can see those two vents. Now,
oh my God.
In the past, it was just one vent, not the other. But now you can see the two vents.
That almost looks like
going.
3.
Yeah, this guy's got I guess there's maybe a double thing going on there. You're right. But the two main vents there, and it's got basically got a little. Well, if you remember from back, was it here? Was it? This one has 2.
Yeah.
So it's got 2 little poles. And that has 1. So I think that's what we were seeing.
Bob Ross should definitely have painted Volcanoes. Yeah.
Hey, his son is carrying on his legacy. Nothing's stopping him.
The north vent is there again. This material is ejecting at speed of sound or more. It is quite an interesting thing to hear this.
Ejaculating.
As you can see, it's quite a very high temperature. Some of the highest temperature lavas.
Sorry, listen. I just came off of Star Trek, and so there's like the euphemisms are flying, and like it's not. I'm not even playing my character that was like working on that kind of stuff. I'm playing the captain, but it's not my fault because we were just dealing with the live birth of some alien species. All right, I didn't do it. Blame Dapper.
But Chesh didn't in the previous series. You played somebody who wanted to ask aliens how they had sex, wasn't that?
So that was definitive. Okay, listen, that is a gross misrepresentation.
Too late for that. Too late to explain that.
All right, hear me out.
No, that's the story now. That's the lore.
Yeah. But it's
one day you guys are all gonna find out exactly what Dr. Trigan was working on, and you're all gonna feel bad.
Okay.
So this is the base where you got speed of sound objections. This is near the top of the thing where it reaches its peak with what gravity reaches, and this is where it basically now it's still going up here, but it's gotten to the point where it's had enough time in the air that it's begun to go closer to the infrared rather than the red. This is the very top of the of the set, and these are you get, but it's not just a continuous stream. You get blobs going side to side. There for stuff. This is in 23. Now I want to show you what this is a movie that shows you watches the action, and you'll see it sped up. I believe this is sped up over time. Where how it gets started and then goes like this. Lots of flow. It drops down a little bit, but now the volume really increases as it kind of widens out, and then stops, and it runs to stop, stops going. Right. So let's watch it out again.
Oh wow!
This is over a period of about 6 hours, right? So it starts spraying, it launches.
Oh wow!
All right, you can see that the time out here in minutes going by. 2 hours.
Remember that the stuff coming down is still
4
lava.
hours.
It is just
Still
cooling
hot.
down. Yeah.
And it's coming from great height. It will have a lot of potential energy, and then as it comes down,
And then all of a sudden,
convert it into kinetic energy, and if it hits you, you're a goner.
Yeah.
Okay. It's gonna burn a hole
so
right
it starts
through
off with a large amount of gas coming out, and it will begins to
yeah, just
flow out
somebody
here,
just
but
goes and switches on the hose and just like turns on the hose.
and then the
let's
pressure
enjoy
just
it.
goes like it goes tilt, and then and again this is some of the highest lava ejections ever seen in the caldera, and then but you see the volume is just enormous.
Yeah.
Volumes, and then just all of a sudden the loft is not there. You're at the bottom of that tilt meter. Remember this that tilt meter line where it hit the bottom, it loses its thing and waits for the next set. And from the other side, I want to show you what the again, that spray you get with a lovely fan out, and shows you the base ejections. Again, you could see it comes in cycles. It's not just a continuous stream. It's an up down type of thing, with enormous flows of volume of lava coming out. And this was part of the episode 23 eruption with stuff on the side. These are large boulders, right? These are big things, coming down and crashing down. I want to show you also the state from the beginning, early on, where they captured a events. You can see that. Watch the spray that occurs. So that's that double thing you said. It looks like there's two there. Yeah. You can see how it kind of comes and goes in, builds up. At some point, it gets so vigorous that it's hard to tell the two. But there are two there. But again, you can see it comes and goes. It's not just a on full acceleration. You get these pulsing back and forth things. You can see this is real time.
Is it undulating?
Yeah.
Stop it, Jesh.
And you can see the ash that's fall there, which is why you if the wind shifts, you don't want to be over there because it's
wow. Hazardous. Can we go back and see? Can we go back a little bit, please? This. Oh God.
And then
this one. Oh,
about an hour later, yes.
This is like a Disney water park show, but for like volcano enthusiasts. What? What did I do now? You can see the
ash there, really high volume ash there. That's
what? What did I do
now?
We'll
see.
Oh wow, that's good. That's so good. What did I do? What the hell, Chesh? Why are you making those faces?
I didn't nothing. Everything's fine. Alicia said in the chat, Earth is so fucking cool.
Look at that. Look at that. That's just extraordinary.
That's some red.
High. Wow. Very, very, very high temperature. We're talking in Fahrenheit, around 2,500 Fahrenheit.
Telling you, it's a Disney water park show.
Making lots of baby rocks. I like the little ones that get off on the side and kind of crash.
Jesh, let it out. Let your inner goblin out.
Nope. Nope. Yes. Not doing it. Yes. You can't make me.
Yes. Yes.
I didn't say nothing.
Murphy. Murphy.
Again, the volume here, but I like to watch some of the little things that get off on the side and like this little blob and go down there. Boom on the side.
Landon's doing it on purpose now.
Okay. All right. So we have some more, but there's more. There's more. So I wanted to talk to you about, after this episode 23 ended, a lot of field work were in, and one of the things in particular is to measure the height of things, so we use precision GPSs that give you height and position of things. Of course, you still use gas masks because there's plenty of outgases, and you never know, it might start up again. So you want to be suitably protected.
I love it. Landon immediately confirms. Yeah, of course we are wearing gas masks. Of course we are wearing gas masks, Maanyaa. Don't scold us, okay?
And you can see how in this area, this ash deposit. This was, that splatter I talked about. Wasn't that cool? That splatter that's going off on the side. Well, this is what you get. Which 54 is rating molten rock or semi-molten rock is there now. You can see from the point of view from the roads that are now buried under lots of rock. that's been
Road?
carried over
There was a
from
road? You're lying.
from there. And this is what it looks like. That up close, some of the volcanic glass, right? This is basically these glass bubbles that you see in the micrograph. I wanted to show you what it looks like. So again, really, it is rock foam, right?
It almost looks like a bubble nest.
Yeah.
It doesn't
So
it though?
cool. It's so cool.
That's what it looks like when
but a
you're
lot
trying to
of
make caramel.
a lot of the upper gas have this trapped gases in it, but it's a lot of silicons, a lot of glass involved in it, which is one of the reasons why breathing this stuff is not recommended. Something called silicosis.
Don't breathe glass.
Yes.
Don't swim in lava. Don't breathe gas or glass.
Gas?
Also, don't
Glass.
breathe gas either.
Yeah. So you can see on the case of episode 23, this green area here, you see from
the 7
2 kilometers
ashes,
and this stuff.
Ashes.
Right. You can see from down here, this 2 kilometers, you can see how far the vent it carried from the vent. Right. That's
wow.
Sar is asking
downwind.
if the volcanic glass is strong enough to hold weight, or would it get crushed?
It gets crushed. It also rain will start to break it apart, and then winds will break it apart. So it begins to wear down. But you start with it. The glass, the rock is very shiny, has this sort of sheen to it, but also acids from normal, environment begins to break it down as well. But good point. So again, you can see the visitor center where you can go and watch from upstream all the stuff happening. So I'm going to show you again between May, what it looks like between May, I think in June. You see that this particular eruption 24, you see the previous one, and the winds were slightly shifted, so we had this deposit downwind slightly in a slightly different area. Now, on occasion, you get whiteout, but this is what you're seeing is the camera is looking at the vent, basically pointing towards it. So it's being showered by molten rock. And heading towards this way. So when we talked about the fact that those things that we're talking about, Cat 6 and resisting molten rock, basically is looking upstream to this, that one of those vents basically being spraying at it. No one was here, of course. And that temperature is wrong.
Good.
But it basically you have this blinding thing. It looks like snow, but it's molten rock bits. Not recommended. So I wanted to show you some other movies here. This is a particular movie, and what you're going to see with this one is is a time lapse of a fountain starting. This is 24, and you'll get record height because it's going way above here. And you can see the hours, right? So watch the hours here, the time, giving nice motion of time. And towards the end, even though the fountain's not high, the volume is really kicking up.
When it started, it just felt like Madam Pele had wet hair, and she just flipped it with all the water. With the
so let's look at let's look what the start is. The start here
whip my hair back and forth. Whip my hair back and forth.
Okay, so we're talking at so the eruption starts at around 9. This is PM. It's one of those 12-hour times. So 9 PM, and we're at 9:30, 10, 10:30.
Yeah, see that?
11, 11:30, midnight.
Wow.
12:30. 1.
Going and going and going.
1:30, 2, 2:30, 3, 3:30, 4, 4:30, and that's episode 24. But again, so nighttime I think is somewhat better, although the visitors like to see the daytime. So this is the episode 24 fountain. And And you can tell that that camera over here, where it went off to the side much more, that's where it got that dusting there. And again, when people say, all this in here, all this silver stuff, this is lava. But this lava has gotten contact with the air and cooled. The only time you'll see red is simply moving fast.
Yeah.
Hasn't had a chance to basically freeze over. But all this is lava in here. All this is stuff. And again, the just spectacular sets there. This was like taking a high speed thing to sort of do a freeze frame of the bits of rock hanging up at the top. Yeah. And again, this is around 250 meters at this stage of stuff. So these are large boulders being ejected way off there. And also you can see off to the side when carrying off bits of rock that end up making that tephra that we saw. Here's another spectacular thing of the vent where it launches here and heads up.
How high is that?
So this is actually the record height. So this was 365 meters. So let me convert that to unfortunate units for the metrically challenged. That is 1,200 feet in height. So it's 1,200 feet from there to there. But as you can tell, the wind carries some of the ash even higher up. Yeah.
Yeah, there's more.
The glowy bits there.
Wow. There's a skull face in there.
Pareidolia.
Right there.
You gotta read the ashes. Read someone's fortune.
But it is extraordinary. That again is we're very fortunate to be able to see these things occurring. Here's another side view, again showing you how it's arcing over. The wind is carrying it off, and then the downdraft from all the hot rock and so forth. That's where you get all that dust carrying downwind with gases and so forth you don't want to breathe. Not recommended. So we've had
not recommended.
25. So this we were seeing was episode 25, the most recent episode. Okay. And so I decided to put together, since we had 25 episodes, a episodic advent calendar. So here are.
Oh my god! Wait! You could make a legit calendar and have these printed onto a calendar.
Yeah. Now I like the third one because it had 30 and 11 and 12. It had the very two distinct vents, right, that were there by this time, and they kind of merged. 24 was the one, I think, the favorite that had that fan out, and 25 was the high speed. You can see that they're, it started off sort of, that was a nice little fountain thing. That was cute. And it started getting more and more vigorous, and it started getting more and more vigorous.
It was like a new kid getting born, getting older and older, becoming a teenager, and then now it's an adult, and it's like, look at me, I'm fabulous.
So the end of the last Volcano show, this was the star of the show, this fan out thing, and now we got these guys over here.
Since then, going in a month. What happened?
Yeah. So the 25 days of Volcano episodes, but it's not 25. It's Chris EV. I also
turn it into a little book where you pull chocolates out. An advent calendar.
Look at how much this is.
That's a lot of brownie
deposit. Baby rocks that have been blown to the side from these eruptions. Look at how much material the wind has carried over this.
It looks like sand. It looks like a sand dune.
But it also kind of congeals too. The rock comes down and it kind of congeals and builds. So this is not a pile of sand. The rock has kind of glued itself because it came down sitting molten, and it kind of interlocks itself.
We should start looking at our prior predictions. As we are reaching the hour-long mark. Now, kind of let us go a little bit long because we were delayed.
There's a couple more items.
Yeah, no worries. I just wanted to let you know.
Yep. Okay. So there's a bucket. They put out buckets to catch ash and measure how much ash falls. So these you just put up a bunch of paint buckets. This rate of one, but also you can see that sometimes ash
There's
is
a
really
hole
hot
right
and
through it.
for that. But yes. So the buckets do have
Like,
sacrifices.
it's like, seriously? Are you kidding me? Why you bring me here?
This is where the GPS thing we're talking about the positioning and also so
Okay.
these are basically precision GPS systems that
Antennas?
measure the it has a 12 GPS antennas in this block here to basically build this over this geographic marker
Yeah.
and you determine that the altitude and shifts for high precision.
Nice.
And of course, they want to see what's happening with the cam. So this was early this morning, right? When the episode 25
it was this
Volcano
morning?
was. Yeah, this was this morning.
Wow.
So before I click on
it, because she never goes while we're live.
Yeah, if we look at right now,
when she will
we can
trust us.
see
One day she will trust us.
It's venting. A lot of gas is coming out, but it doesn't have.
She thinks we're the fucking paparazzi.
Here's another one this morning.
We are not the fucking paparazzi. No, we are not. We're nice
again,
to her. We don't go around late. Like, well, I guess.
So 6:48 Hawaii is about 9:48, which would be at 12:48 your time. Time, what it was from 2. And of course, right now it's near sunset and it's not erupting. And 3 is so here's a case of one of my friend of mine, Art Wolf, and he had a really nice set of he had some really nice photography.
Wow. Oh, that's from.
He was in Vietnam. He came back and found this.
Wow. Whoa. Wow. Wow.
Wah wee wah.
Woohoo!
It's hot enough that some of it is falling for quite a bit of time before it cools off too.
Yeah. Look at that, like the river. Oh my goodness. What was that for?
Oh, the lava bubbling. Well, you don't like it?
Yeah.
I like it. What is that?
I'm gonna learn the fire song from Zelda, and I'll record it on the recorder. Since we can't usually listen to the videos, we can play that underneath it.
Not a bad idea.
It's a terrible idea.
So finally, look at the last one here. This was a VQ233 cam this morning.
Ooh, nice.
Again,
nice.
This is near the edge of the when it was dying down. Of course, now it's off, but there will be other things. So there we go. So questions, predictions, comments.
We can start with
that's
last
the
time's prediction.
Come back, Landon.
Libya eclipse. Okay, did I say stop sharing?
Nope. Hey.
There we go.
Welcome back. Disembodied voice.
Today's what? 21st? Is it 21st, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
can you take
there's David's in there, and so it's Smitty and other folks.
So the last time's predictions. So last time was the Mother's Day show. That's what it was. Yeah. And Dar had said that aliens are gonna come to pick up baked ice cream. So that's what Zar had said. And then,
unfortunately, no aliens yet. One day.
And April had said there is gonna be a kaboom, something extra, more spice. Mount St. Helens, but smaller.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty close.
Yeah.
It's a mountain was a collapse and
Yeah, no collapse, but definitely more spectacular and definitely
No
breaking
collapse.
records. So that's pretty close.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah. Red Eye, I didn't get anything from Red Eye. So yeah.
well, red eye is red eye, but he sort of
Red Eye is Red
said
Eye.
he sort of said lots of lava. I think is what I
Yeah.
remember him saying.
Sean had said brain's not braining today. That's what he had said.
Fair.
Landon had said at least few more episodes, and those episodes will have half-day fountains. Volumes same as in April and May, but not as tall. Same kind of patterns
wrong.
at least as last month.
1 and 1.
Yeah.
2 and 1.
Then Chesh had said going to see the pattern continue a little longer, and then settle down eventually.
Yeah.
So,
completely wrong.
Oh, I am completely wrong because I had said Madam Pele is going to settle down, no more episodes. So I'm just like,
yeah,
way wrong.
high five.
High five.
So folks, and we try to predict what we think is going to happen in a month from now. I guess it's this way. Yeah, there you go.
Landon's facing the wrong way. I'm slapping the back of his hand. There you go.
Yeah, now there we go.
Ooh, oh, he's big enough we could both high five him at the same time if you go to the corner.
Oh my goodness. Here we go. Let's go. Boom.
Yay!
Okay.
We are adults.
We can do that. So get your predictions in for what will happen next month. I think we're going to have a volcano show. Is it a month from now?
Yeah. It would probably be the 18th.
Sure.
Based off
Same
of
time.
same time, same place, same bat time, same bat place, but we got to make our predictions for next month.
Yes.
My prediction is complete settle down by next month. I'm stealing Maanya's from last time.
Okay.
What about the chat?
Yeah, you gotta give them a second. You gotta give them a minute. They gotta catch up. Maanyaa, what's your predictions?
I will say we'll see more from Madam Pele. A few more episodes. But not as spectacular. Some low energy episodes. A few more low energy episodes. How about that?
April says, predict more of the same, but slightly less of it.
So I think we will have the same number of episodes as we had last month. While they may not reach the record, they'll be tall and pretty interesting to look at. So I think the volume will still be the same. I think that the mountain is settled into a pattern, and we'll have within one of the same number as last month.
Sar is saying more aliens and ice cream cones. He's sticking with that one. He's like, he wants it. He wants the ice cream.
At some point, did the aliens come in the DC-10s that Hubbard predicted, or is that a different type
no, not the Hubbard aliens. That's the worst. That's the worst aliens you could pick.
Because you realize Hubbard said this volcano was where the Thetan.
Shit!
I'm not kidding. That's part of his
I believe you. Smitty said, I predict Pele will wipe the lava off her stomach and give us cab money, which basically is saying, he's saying that Pele will be finished. So similar prediction as me, but maybe with a little bit more movement, like, of cooling and maybe like a little bit of outflowing, but not like fountaining. If I'm translating Smitty's sex talk, which I think I am pretty fluent in. Raisin is saying that Pele is going to continue to break more records.
So, and by records, I'm assuming she's talking about the height of the
girth, volume.
Yeah. It seems like, again, and we don't quite understand why the magma is doing the hard road of going up through that blockage, finding a very narrow passage. Because the reason why it only really has a high fountain is because there's a very constricted passage, and why it hasn't decided to go to the southwest or to on the east, which it did a couple of times in the show's history. Why it's continuing to go up to the top is a interesting question. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that's an interesting as why it tends to continue going there.
Hell yeah! This has been a great show.
You
got everybody? You got everything, Maanyaa?
Yep, I got it.
Nicely done. Can we show it to us? Very
Yay.
nice. Lovely handwriting.
Thank you very much. By the way, thank you for Maanyaa for keeping track of these things.
Maanyaa was on time today.
Yes, she was early.
Are you chair twerking? Like what?
I was trying to move, but it wouldn't move. Like Landon's like children. I deal with children.
That's okay. It's not going to get better when we have our debate pub, which is on the 28th at
yes.
6 p.m. Pacific on June 28th.
Where
the four of us get together, and I guess things have been happening.
Yeah, we get to talk about the G7. We get to talk about NATO, and Europe just is having a conference coming up. So there's been a lot of global news going on, and we're gonna get to have a laugh at maybe SpaceX for just a second because they exploded again. Premature explosion.
Do you think the number of wars will exceed the number of volcanic eruptions going on simultaneously?
That's a good question.
Oh, that is a good question. I don't think
there's several wars going on.
There are several wars, yeah. We'll talk about some war updates, but yeah.
Yep. We'll have those things coming forward. The International Obfuscated Secret Contest judging is still ongoing, and we're near the final round of judging. So it's very likely, I would guess, that by the time we have our next Volcano show, the winners of the 40th anniversary International Obfuscated Secret Contest will be announced.
Will you tell us who they are on the show as well?
I can tell you as well. We'll also, David is going to be producing a live show on our favorite universe where we're going to announce live the winners. And then once the end of the thing, I press the button, the source goes to GitHub, and everyone can have fun. Because there are some really crazy things this time. It's taking longer because there's some really interesting.
Smitty is predicting that SpaceX is going to pivot to making missiles since all their rockets explode.
Nice.
He's only good at wrecking things, so
it may be that why launch a rocket to someone else's place? You just pay someone else to have their rocket blow up over there, right? And then we have one of their bad rocketry systems blow up on their side, and we just basically pay each other to blow up rockets.
Do you have anything else going on, Landon?
Well, there's also just general fun and cooking and baking a cake and making tacos and frittatas and all kinds of good stuff.
Wonderful. Friday evening, just before this show time slot is Star Trek Endurance. SAR is on Star Trek Endurance. I'm over there. Feel free to see my fantastic producing abilities over there. Maanyaa is going to be over on my main channel tomorrow, and I'm only like 8 subscribers off from 4K, so hey, that's pretty cool. Tomorrow is going to be a bit, we're going to probably cause some people some problems. As for Monday is now...
Why would you do that?
Why would we? I don't know. Why not?
I want it.
Mondays is now like a chill stream on my channel, so if you want to go and check that out, it's chill. It's up for it's up for a week, and then it goes away, and then it becomes members only. I will also on Tuesday be over on Dapper's channel doing Tisdall Tuesday, and fuck my life. I did this to myself.
Yes,
check out Dapper's stuff too. He does good stuff.
Fantastic. Maanyaa, you got anything else going on? Or are you just creeping around getting ready to like wreck people's day?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. We're gonna get on out of here, and we will see you next time. Whoa! Oh, and special thanks to
Bye.
Bent. He's the one who wrote the stinger to get us the hell out of here. Bye-bye!
Ooh,
Bye,
nice.
Ben.
Bye.